You are watching For the Culture on Charismaggie TV. What up everyone, Charismaggie here and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to episode 1 for season 3 of For the Culture. This series was created to focus on culture education, appreciation, and empowerment. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my personal experience of what it was like for me growing up in Jamaica. I actually already did a video comparing living in Jamaica and living in Belize. If you want to check out that video, you can click the eye icon here, or at the end of the video it will be there for you to click on to watch afterwards. And I pretty much did in that video showing similarities and differences between the two countries, so I didn't really focus on like my personal experience. So I decided I wanted to be able to share that because I do get that common question, what was it like growing up in Jamaica? And I do want to stress this is my personal experience. Everyone's experience is going to be different. And yeah, hopefully it's relatable for some of you who have probably grown up the way I grew up. So I've tried to record this video at least 3 times because I couldn't find a way to really express my different experiences living in Jamaica. So the easiest thing I came up with was to focus on the pros, the cons. So basically talking about things I liked, things I didn't like, and some childhood memories. And I think that is the easiest way for me to be able to cover more or less what my experience was like. Hold up, before we get into that, let's just debunk some common myths about Jamaica and Jamaican people. So first and foremost, it is not a place that everyone just goes to the beach, smoke weed all day, and people live in coconut huts and life is just airy all the time. Like, everyone has their own problems. There is so much more to the country other than weed smoking and going to the beach, so I just want to really stress that, okay? Alright, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. On to the video. I actually moved to Jamaica from Guyana. That's where I was born, and I left Guyana when I was about 4 years old. And the first place we moved to was Westmoreland. Westmoreland is more of the rural side, a lot of mountains, hills, things like that. Not really busy, so farming, agriculture is a very big part of that parish. I don't know if that's still the case today, but when I lived there, that is what I pretty much saw. And a lot of outdoor activities, so playing dandy shandy, hopscotch, bowling a pen, cricket, things like that is what I remembered, like playing with neighborhood kids and seeing other kids play as well. So yeah. Then fast forward to 5 years later, we moved to Kingston, and we moved to like downtown Kingston. So I was like in the middle of everything, knowing what it was like, hearing gunshots from time to time, going to the market with my mother, going to the meat shop, knowing what it was like, you know, hearing loud music at how much o'clock in the night or the morning because some parties going on. So at this point I was a bit older, so I do have some memories of some stuff. So I remembered, you know, like not really having cable, so the 2 channels that we had were TVJ and CVM, and whenever it came on to coming from school, you had to make sure you go home before 5 o'clock because at 5 o'clock JIS was coming on. For those of you who don't know what JIS is, it's Jamaica Information Service, and it was kind of like the warm-up for news later on. So it was covering like different topics, but it was like local news that it was focusing on in Jamaica. Some things I remember doing there was playing like cricket, learning how to ride a bicycle, and occasionally going to like Hope Zoo, Devon House for ice cream, and also going to the Emancipation Park. Whenever there were any like big celebrations like Emancipation Day or even Independence Day, almost everyone and them grandmother would be at Emancipation Park, and that is where the 2 statues of the naked black woman and man is located. So fast forward to 5 years later, we moved to Montego Bay. This is like the tourist capital. I don't know if that's still the case, but when I was living there, that's how I knew it to be. A lot of beaches, resorts, things like that. Everyone came there for like vacation. And this is when I went to high school, and also 1 year of junior college I completed in Montego Bay. Most of my fond memories would be in Montego Bay because this is where I was a bit older. I was making friends. My best friends I actually met in Montego Bay, and also just getting to know myself a bit more. And this is where I also had some more freedom with like taking taxi or buses and getting to go places with my friends to like eat and like to the park or the beach. It was like a tradition for me and my family. Like every Saturday we would go down to the beach. Like I don't know if anyone knows like that very far end beach that they call, it's not Dump Up Beach, Free Zone. I think it's what them call it, the one that's like near to the airport, that if you go to that beach, the planes, you could see the planes coming over your head. That is where we used to go, and it was always good vibes. It was just a great place to go relax. I still don't know how to swim to this day, so I didn't really go for the swimming part. It was just to like relax, get some sun, and just get away from like being inside all day or all week and escape, really. So I'm gonna start with some of the things I didn't like growing up in Jamaica. So the taxis, like, boy oh boy, let me tell you, you see, if you go to take a taxi and them tell you one and ready, they are never ready. For some reasons, like, taxi man will always tell you like one and ready, like halfway through, halfway through. If you were living in Kingston, that's what you would hear. If you're in Montego Bay, you would just hear one and ready for whichever area. And you go into the vehicle, you're waiting for the taxi man to leave, and he wouldn't leave until the taxi is like packed, like even over capacity at times. So that's one thing I didn't really like, because it took forever to get home, and especially when it was raining. Trust me, taking taxi when it was raining was like the worst thing ever. Oh, and how could I forget JPS, the countless power outages, and the high bills. Please help us in getting some signatures for this petition, because residents are really suffering under JPS and their high bills. Thank you. The next thing I wasn't really a fan of was like the psst, 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 psst. Yes, like men losing air whenever you're walking, and that was like their version of cat calling. Psst, niceness, psst, shawty. Whatever names they had for people, everyone got a different name. If you were a brown girl, it would be automatically browning. If you were short, shorty is automatically a name. If you're thick, tickers. Like, everyone had like their own name that they gave to women. I was not a fan of that. I don't know if it still goes on, because recently people have been calling out like cat calling culture and all of that. So maybe it has stopped at some degree, but I don't think it will completely like end ever. Other things I didn't like were obviously like the violence. So I will definitely not, disagree that there was violence in the country, like a lot of war, gang wars and whatnot. I wasn't very much a fan of that. It was scary at times, because stray bullets is like, yeah, let me not even. But yeah, violence. It wasn't a fan. And the other thing was, I saw this mostly in school. I experienced it mostly in school. Colorism. So for those of you who don't know what colorism is, it's basically the daughter of racism, and it's when people basically treat you lesser than because you're a darker complexion. So the darker you are, the less attractive you were, the less sophisticated you are, the less educated. Anything that was positive, if you were darker, then they associated it to anything bad. So when people wanted to disrespect you, it would always be you're black and ugly, you're black and something, you're black and this. So that's their way of disrespecting you, but black always had to be in it. And it wasn't just like kids who would bully you who would do it. It would also be teachers, like just how they treated the children. You could see the difference between how lighter skinned kids were treated as opposed to darker skinned kids, and also the good hair, bad hair business. But that's a conversation for another day. And because of the desire to look more attractive, because everyone was being told the lighter you are, the better you look, skin bleaching was a very big thing. So for those of you who are wondering what caused it, where it came from, it's really because of like that colorism, that self-hate aspect of the culture, and people telling you browning is the thing. Browning is what people like. Now on to the things that I liked and loved, because there are a couple things. So church in Jamaica is like, I've been to different countries. So I've lived in Belize, I'm living now in Canada, and I've lived in two different provinces in Canada. And I can say one thing that I've always missed ever since I've left Jamaica is the church culture, just how vibes the church is. No one is afraid to dance. I remember things like going to church rallies. So when it came onto my social life, it was basically home, school, church, back home. So going to parties wasn't something that I knew anything about. So don't ask me about pasa party. Me no know. So yeah, going to church was a big part of my life. So going to different like parishes, and we would go to like their church rallies, and it was good. So I really like that part of their culture. Everything that they do is just full of vibes overall, even church. When it came on to school, I like the fact that we were able to get exposed to our culture from a young age in some way. Even if we didn't notice it, they kind of did expose us to it. So we had days like Jamaica Day. I think it's every October, or it was November. Some day in that month that it was held. Everyone pretty much dressed up in like either Jamaican colors or it was a traditional dress, and they usually had a program where we would perform like Louise Bennett poems. There were like cultural dances that were done. I remembered even participating myself, doing like drumming, even dancing. To this day, I'm still doing my kumina. For those of you who don't know what that is, go look it up. And yeah, I just like that they expose us to that. And as you got older, you were exposed to like going to different competitions. And from your young, actually, from like infant school up until high school, you could get the opportunity to compete in different cultural competitions. So I like that about the place as well. Another thing I like, this was specific to what you call middle school, but we call it primary school. Every break time, we would get pink milk and Nutribun or Bulla. That was like, yes, I really, really love that. The food, yes, definitely the food. I miss it to this day, and even though sometimes I do try to cook it myself, it's just not the same because you can't get the seasonings that you want to like make it taste like back home. So you just have to do what you can with what you have. But like jerk chicken, oxtail, KFC in Jamaica is like so different from all other KFC I've tasted. The one in the US and one over here, I don't know. It just tastes really different. Better. It tastes better in Jamaica, that's for sure. Patty and cocoa bread with a box juice. And I also like the fact that people supported like the local cook store, like cook shop. If you had a cook shop and your food was A1, people will support it, even though they like the Burger King and they like the KFC. For lunchtime still people would, or even dinner, people would still go and support the local cook shop and go buy food, and you usually can get like rice and peas, curry, jerk chicken, oxtail, whatever it is that place usually sells. But those are usually the common things. Soup, like cow foot soup, red pea soup, and them little things there. Like, I'm getting hungry now. Let me stop. I don't know if I'm the only one who remember this, but for those of you who went to primary school in Jamaica, do you remember like devotion was like mandatory every single day? If it wasn't group devotion, it was like class devotion. And every morning, like the first day of the week, Monday, we would always have to gather together, the entire school, and we would have to sing the national anthem. It's only me remember that, but some kids wouldn't actually sing the proper national anthem. There was like this remix for the national anthem, and this is how it went. Eternal Father, bless our land, guide us with thy frying pan, keep us free from evil flour, it will make your dumpling sour. Marcus Garvey, something, jump through the window and broke him little finger. I lived in 3 different parishes, and I can tell you overall, all 3 parishes, them do not sound the same. Everybody talk different. Town people sound different from people who live in like what they call country. So country are like the more rural parts of the country. So anywhere that's like a little bit less developed, they would refer to it as country. And the town would be like Kingston or Montego Bay. Even though there's a debate between Kingston and Montego Bay, with them calling each other country, which I don't get, but comment below which one is the country, Jamaica, Kingston or Montego Bay. Let me know in the comment section. Last but not least, I absolutely love the dance culture. Like, I'm not really talking about whining in particular because that seems to be the only thing that people know about. You would have Signal the Plane, you have Pon the River, Pon the Bang, you have, what else? What other dance them have? I can't even remember. Oh, One Drop. I feel like One Drop and that Cook Curry dance, 2 of them are very similar. But like for the newer dance now, we have like the fling shoulder. I still don't know how to fling my, tell me how I'm doing. Are your shoulder fear fling? I can shoulder fit. Okay, I'm gonna stop because I know I look stupid. And them just make a dance out of everything. I mean, there's a dance move called umbrella and breadfruit. So at this point, all I can say is that the people them just versatile. They can make anything fun, and their dance moves can go to anything. Just put on any kind of music and try any Jamaican dance move and see if I'm lying. But one thing for sure, dancing is a humbling experience because no matter how easy the dance move look, you look and you will see that it's not as easy because you see how full you look. Big up on yourself. I just wanted to give a shout out to all of the Jamaicans both at home and abroad. Be proud of your culture wherever you go. Don't change who you are to fit in. I know that's kind of the thing sometimes. And just know, like, it's true what they say. There's no place like home. Yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. For more videos like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so that you know when I upload a new video. More videos like this coming to you every single Thursday. A new country, a new culture at noon every Thursday. Don't forget to do road and do things, and until next time, Maggie is out.